Venezuela to get them to, because we could help that country. I mean, our country could help them tremendously if it was it's going to be for the people, because they have not only do they have the oil, but they got a lot of great produce, things that we could work with. The same way we work with Mexico. It's just who these people, these guys that get in power, and we can't really work with them to have some type of deal. We could probably do something with North Korea. There could be something done there.
Here's the thing about Latin America, though, is that they've got these communist ideas floating around that have been floating around for like a century, less than a century-ish. About that. Yeah. And we've tried to interfere in the past. I mean, look at Chile, look at Nicaragua. Mm-hmm. And what those communists do is they just turn it around on us. They say, look, it's the Yankees' fault that we failed. Right. So if we ultimately want them to fail, unfortunately, we have to do the tough love thing of just letting them fail, letting their people take care of that, because they're just going to rewrite history and be like, look, they toppled our dictatorship and just put in a military coup. Those bad Americans, when we were just trying to maybe help them.
Right. Well, I mean,
maybe help.
Not that helpful, frankly.
I do know that our government has been. If you read the books from Che Guevara we were involved in a lot of. We wanted to control
bad shit.
If you read Dulles' book, you will find what we've done. Our CIA and everything else. We wanted to control all of Central America. We were not trying to negotiate, and you had a lot of big American corporations who wanted to take over, and they go into these countries and they, and take them over and not really do for the people, and the people see that. I mean, I get it, but like you said, they are going to let them starve. America knows, and they will let Venezuela starve in order to take control.
As a Latina trying to make this sense of the history, because I hear both sides of it, and then studying economics, hearing the opposite side of it, I'm in a little bit of an existential crisis of knowing what the truth is, because I hear all the stuff from Che Guevara and bad capitalists, but there's also a filter in my mind where I'm thinking, yeah, but how much of what he wrote and that you guys read is just bullshit? Because it could be bullshit. Not to question and undermine and gaslight, but
no. I wouldn't say that that you're not right on that. We know we're in America. Look at Haiti. Haiti's the where it is because America
of America's interference.
Haiti fought. They were the first country to get their freedom. Thomas Jefferson slapped an embargo on them.
Yeah,
and then they took $1 billion worth of reparations from them. Also, that lasted forever. Then they brought in Papa Doc, which was money supplied by us. Okay, did we not put Bautista?
Yep.
Trujillo.
That's true.
Okay, those people backed by our CIA. Now that is truth.
All over the world.
All over the world. We are involved.
Yeah.
And, and our bankers, and it all started, you can say it started also with World War II, because did we not rebuild Germany? Did we not bring in the World Banks? Because they didn't exist till we brought them in.
Yeah.
J.P. Morgan and the boys and everybody got together and they said, hey. And that's what made us the superpower that we are.
Yeah, it's a great tradition of capitalism and imperialism. Yeah. The big 1-2 punch, global 1-2 punch.
Those that join, hey, they're rolling.
Well, and it's the kind of thing, when it works, it's great. But when it doesn't, you got to find another solution, or as we have done. No, just keep sticking with it until it seems to work, which doesn't work. I think what we're seeing is the biggest problem is the extremism. Kat, you were talking earlier about having to reconcile, what is going on in South America with what is right and what works. And I think when you look at the current, and you were saying, you don't understand how, these conservatives can sit there and preach against truly conservative economic principles. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a matter of putting the party's idealism over fact and practicality. when Trump earlier this week said he wanted to cut legal immigration by half, and they asked Lindsey Graham, well, what do you think about that? And Lindsey Graham said, well, South Carolina are the two biggest parts of our economy are farming. Yeah. And when you look at farming and the labor, most of that is immigrant labor. So if you get rid of 50% of the immigration, that will completely decimate my state's economy.
It's a disaster for the national economy.
But he says, other than that, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
We
hate brown people, but we like money more than we hate brown people. That's the thing, bottom line.
But yeah, I think, that was Lindsey Graham typical humor, of like, well, no, it's a complete shit show. But other than that, it's fantastic. Which someone said it on NPR this week, and I was thinking it immediately when I heard Graham say that. You can't do stuff like that with Donald Trump in the Oval Office, because all Trump is going to hear is it's a fantastic idea part. Yeah. It's like when, the first week of him being in office and Elijah Cummings said, if you serve all of the American people, you could be a great president. And all Trump took away from that was, I'm going to be I'm a great president. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, whatever, the translation between the world and brain, it's just really, really bad. And I think that what the government or his administration, who are all crooks and liars, of course, but I think they're all trying to figure out a way to work around him, and feed him the right input and him to, say or not respond to some of the more wackadoo things that he would like to respond to.
I mean, if you even think about what he said about the police officers and said, those guys that committed those crimes, shove them in there.
Just shove them in there, yeah.
Yeah, push their head down.
And then he backpedal. Oh, I was just kidding about that.
You can't see it, but my eyes are rolling I can see my brain right now.
It's so awful. Yeah. I mean, and that he would say something like that in the wake of what's been going on in terms of police brutality in this country. I mean, it's just so crazy.
But how did Huckabee spin that? I mean,
he was just kidding.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
You people have no sense of humor.
Yeah, as comedians, and as a Jewish comedian, a Latina, and an African American, we've all had, I'm sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we've all had people say the most vile, racist things to us individually. And then when you bring it, well, you're a comedian. You should know. You should be able to take a joke. And it's like, yeah, but that's not a joke.
Yeah, but it wasn't funny.
Right. And that's
also, though, let me walk that back. A lot of people are like, oh, it was racist, but it was also funny. People laughed at it. Yeah, no. Yeah. Can I just say no? I'm not going to elaborate. Just no, that doesn't justify it. If it's a racist thing, if you're putting out like a negative idea into the world and what people are taking away from that are bad things, it's not a good joke. Mm-mm. You shouldn't be like propagating bad things in the universe. Period. Seems obvious, but people are like, yeah, but I want to be funny and famous, so I'm just going to say whatever I want, and that should be fun.
Good old shock value humor. There you go.
I don't know. All my racist friends laugh at what I say.
Yeah, okay.
It might as well be a poop joke.
I'm just a bold iconoclast. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's frightening. But there may be relief on the horizon. We've got a grand jury that's been convened.
I thought you were going to say Trump's going to take a comedy class where he's going to learn that shock humor isn't okay.
I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. He doesn't need to take a class. He already knows all the best jokes. He has the best words.
He does have the best words.
Bigly, yeah.
We're all going to die.
Mueller.
But we might not.
Let's talk Mueller, not Miller, shall we?
Let us, because I think it's interesting what's happening. Will we see justice prevail? A second Republican senator called for Mueller to step down this week, saying that he is obviously biased. And this is another, we're talking about Trump understanding the meaning of words. I think before he goes to that hypothetical comedy class, the man needs to be taught what the word fair means. Because like a whiny, bratty little 3-year-old, he is constantly, well, this is unfair to the presidency. It's not fair. It's not fair. First of all, as anyone with decent parents has heard many times throughout their life, however long it is, life itself is not fair.
Yeah.
But when you look at how Trump defines fair, see, this is what I think the first linguist to come up with a Trump to English dictionary is going to be sitting on some major bank. Because when Trump says fair, what fair means is not, as we have traditionally understood it for all these years. Fair, when Trump says it, means beneficial to Trump.
Tim, yes.
Trump,
at the cost of anyone else. So that is what he means by fair. Much like as we saw throughout Obama's tenure as president, when Republicans in Congress said compromise, what that meant, not
doing it
compromise
our way.
as we traditionally understood, compromise in the Republican
you guys will
Senate.
Compromise
That
for
means
us.
you are going to do what we say,
want, yes.
and then you're going to shut the fuck up as we rain roughshod over this country.
I mean, I know this is not on our talking points list.
That's all right.
But I really would like to talk about, I read a really good piece in Esquire the other day and about, what's going on in the Democratic Party and how there's absolutely no cohesion among us. And we're all, and I'm just sitting here and listening to our conversation and thinking about how focused we are on Trump and what Trump is saying. And I really believe that this is one of the greatest disservices we're doing to ourselves by obsessing on this moron and putting our energy into responding to the Republicans instead of building a coalition among ourselves and focusing on these next 2 elections and finding viable candidates and a platform that we can offer to people. And the more we do this, the more we keep sort of rehashing the news cycle. And I know it's hilarious and we're here to do it for fun and yucks and whatever, but I think that on a sort of nationwide level, that's going to lead us deeper into this crisis. And
well, I mean, ideally, because to a large extent, we in this room are somewhat guilty of what I was saying earlier. We identify the problems, but we are trying to come up with solutions. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, who's going to listen to 4 comedians in a room?
People don't even listen. People don't even listen to economists. I remember watching this it was almost a life-changing moment for me. It was on The Daily Show. It was 10 years ago with Obama. No, it was Jon Stewart was interviewing, I think it was one of Obama or Bush's economists who had just left. And the guy was cracking up, but without any jokes happening. And Jon Stewart's like, why are you laughing? He's just like, I'm really happy to be gone out of the White House. And the general gist of the interview was that no one listened to him, even though economists oftentimes are the ones with the solutions. They're the ones who are looking at the numbers and who are going to be like, this isn't going to work. This is going to work.
Like Robert Reich? Was it Robert Reich?
Yeah, sure. Robert Reich.
It wasn't him, but it was someone like that.
Yeah, it was a great documentary he did. Also, he brought the guy who was the multimillionaire, who's also been on Daily and other shows, and he told him about the whole trickle down thing and everything, how it doesn't work, and how by we can have more jobs and raise minimum wage and all this different things, and you won't lose your company. And he was, he really had a good spin on it. He's a multimillionaire, and the guy goes around and shows them, but no one. He's right. You're right.
They don't listen.
And you look at people like the CEO of Costco, who they take care of their employees. Look at Costco's business model versus Walmart. In terms of the big box, bulk stores, and Costco takes care of their people. They know that you build a strong business by taking care of your employees and making your employees feel valued.
But that's old school. The old school was, the company took care of the people, and the people took care of the company.
Like pre-1980.
Yeah, that was it. But now we're for the shareholder. The shareholder is the most important guy.
Yeah.
Well, corporations are people.
Right.
Well, they
much
are.
like Soylent
and
Green.
Obviously,
and we're being expected to
Citizens
swallow
United was the ultimate